Hey, I've got Aaron Watkins in the house. Aaron is the Senior Director of Internet Strategy for Johns Hopkins Medicine. In other words, he's kind of a big deal, not going to lie. And also a personal friend. I've just enjoyed being friends with Aaron and getting to know him over the years. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm fortunate to have you as a friend.
You know, it's great to keep in touch. We have such a tight-knit community, and it's got this family reunion feel to it. What about you? So we're not gonna be able to do HCIC in person this year. I'm bummed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm bummed. So how's that gonna be? You know, how are you gonna keep in touch with the community when we don't get to have that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think that's true in every aspect of our life right now, right? All our social circles and how they've evolved and how so much of it's digital today, and how interactions out in the public sphere are just strange with the masks and everything. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're going into I guess it's the third season of COVID, right? It's the fall, and HCIC is always a big part of my fall. You know, I'm usually starting to think about what am I going to present? What am I going to do? Who am I going to see? Who do I want to talk to? You know, and I miss it. That's for sure. I actually have more time to watch content like this. In fact, I just said watch, which doesn't know, because usually I'm listening in the car, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of fitting it in and during those commutes. But, you know, now during little parts of my day, I'm on LinkedIn a little more. I'm on Twitter. I see this kind of content and get to interact. So, you know, that's been huge. And I imagine I'll approach the conference the same way. I mean, anything that people are sharing, I want to see it. And any way I'm asked to help out and participate, I want to do it. So,
you know, first and foremost, I got to give a hat tip to all the conference organizers who are making things work virtually, you know, with virtual versions of their conferences, of finding new ways to engage in between. And yes, we're all going to miss it. Like, next year's going to be a big deal. Like, we're going to be so excited, you know, knock on wood, whatever we have to do to be able to resume regular conferences next year.
I've had a lot of people from the HCIC crowd who at different phases have just reached out, usually just to ask, you know, how am I doing? What are you up to? Hanging in there. And sometimes it's because they have a particular problem and they're just like, look, I saw this. I think you're working on the same problem. I like what you did, or, you know, are you thinking about it? And those kinds of interactions are just so important for all of us right now, probably more than ever.
Let's dive into data too a little bit more. How do you steer somebody to start thinking differently about data?
I think it's difficult. I mean, I think the hardest thing for marketers, for executives, for anyone right now is just the large volume of data and the fact that data creates more questions. You know, people want to treat it like math, right? I think I'm lucky. I was never a particularly strong math student. You know, it wasn't my top subject, right? So I'm not worried about matching it up perfectly. I can see that it's there to paint a picture, right? Web analytics has always existed to paint a picture and give you an understanding of where people are going on the site. But also I've known you can play with architecture, you can play with headers, right? You can do so much to shift those traffic patterns. So I think in this case, number one, I think the clearer the business objectives are that are coming from leadership, the greater of the opportunity. For us then, because we are in this foundational time with both our user experience platform, our CRM, even through this experience, we've built stronger connections to the Epic team where we've had to support each other in ways we wouldn't have thought of maybe 6 months ago, or that we had on a longer term roadmap, but suddenly we had to deal with today. When it comes back to the data, it's about first understanding our data and what we have, but also as an enterprise, what data do we all need to be accessing and in what ways, and how is that normalized? And so I think we have a period of heavy data normalization and efforts like that to align with business objectives and understanding of our audiences to serve them best. I think for everyone, that's just a huge learning process.
Well, I like that you made that clear, that this is not a simple process. This is a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going to get everyone to the exact same point in understanding how to use data. And by that point, the sources and the data itself will have shifted a lot again. So bringing everyone forward and understanding how to use their data is still a monumental task, but you can tell that story from a lot of different angles,
right?
Depending on your understanding of it. And I think that's why I keep coming back to that being the most important part, knowing what the data is for.
Yeah. And I think that I had a mindset shift a few years ago in that I was trying to think, how do I tell the story, right? How do I demonstrate value? How do I do those things? A few years ago, as we started to think about how we were reshaping the web experience, and ultimately, I think the same mindset we're applying to our platforms today is, how do we use data to build trust? How do we use information about our audiences? And you don't need that much, really. You can have a lot, right? You can go deep, but with very basic points of information, you can serve people content that is probably more relevant to them, or give a call to action that best suits them. And doing that, you look at this whole pandemic, healthcare institutions, our physicians, our frontline workers, we probably have never had more trust, right, than in a long time. We haven't had this much trust. And at the same time, you can lose it, right? And I think the web has always been one basic component of building that trust. You have to try to find ways to give people what is most beneficial to them. And we can drive business objectives much more effectively with good data. But I think equally important, we can serve the community both locally and nationally by good use of data, by focusing on just providing good information, introducing calls to action when it makes sense, right? Just taking those kinds of steps.
What a great way to kind of wrap all this up, Aaron. And I just want to say, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for giving me a few minutes today, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yes, thank you, my friend. Good to talk to you.